Greetings, fellow soldiers, and welcome to Satoshi's Militia, where we honor American patriotism and share Bitcoin principles. In this episode, we're going to talk about how the Constitution was written and ratified. The process of writing and ratifying the U.S. Constitution involved numerous debates, compromises, and revisions. The Constitutional Convention convened in Philadelphia on May 25, 1787, with the initial purpose of amending the Articles of Confederation. This was the governing document of the United States at this time. Delegates from 12 of the 13 states attended the convention. Rhode Island did not send a representative. The convention was presided over by George Washington, with James Madison playing a significant role in drafting proposals and recording proceedings. Instead of amending the Articles of Confederation, the delegates ultimately decided to draft a new constitution to create a stronger and more centralized federal government. The Constitutional Convention was marked by intense debates and negotiations over key issues, such as representation in the legislature, the structure of the federal government, and the balance of powers between the states and the federal government. Significant compromises were reached to address these issues, including the Great Compromise, or the Connecticut Compromise. A committee of detail was appointed to draft the initial version of the Constitution based on the decisions and compromises reached during the convention. The Committee of Style, chaired by Governor Morris, was responsible for finalizing the language and structure of the Constitution. The final draft of the Constitution was completed on September 17, 1787, and signed by 39 delegates. The Constitution required ratification by at least 9 of the 13 states in order to take effect. Ratification debates occurred in state conventions across the country, with supporters of the Constitution, known as Federalists, arguing for its adoption, and opponents, known as Anti-Federalists, expressing concerns about the concentration of power and lack of individual rights. The Federalist Papers were a series of essays written by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay. They were published to promote the ratification of the Constitution. On June 21, 1788, New Hampshire became the 9th state to ratify the Constitution, officially establishing it as the supreme law of America. Despite the ratification of the Constitution, several states conditioned their approval upon the addition of a Bill of Rights to protect individual liberties. Congress proposed 12 amendments to the Constitution in 1789, 10 of which were ratified by the states and became known as the Bill of Rights in 1791. The writing and ratification of the United States Constitution were critical milestones in the nation's history, establishing the framework for the federal government and shaping the principles of American governance. Bitcoin Core is free and open source software that serves as a Bitcoin node with the collective of nodes forming the Bitcoin network, and it provides a Bitcoin wallet which fully verifies payments. It is considered to be Bitcoin's reference implementation. Initially, the software was published by Satoshi Nakamoto under the name Bitcoin, and later renamed to Bitcoin Core in order to distinguish it from the network. It is also known as the Satoshi client. Bitcoin Core includes a transaction verification engine and connects to the Bitcoin network as a full node. The software validates the entire blockchain, which includes all Bitcoin transactions ever produced. Bitcoin Core includes a scripting language that defines transactions and specifies parameters. The lead developer of Bitcoin Core has recently been Vladimir J. Vanderland, who took over the role on April 8, 2014. Gavin Andreessen was the former lead and maintainer of the software client. Andreessen left the role of lead developer for Bitcoin to work on the strategic development of its technology. Over a dozen different companies and industry groups fund the development of Bitcoin Core. In 2019, MIT announced donations of $900,000 used to fund the Digital Currency Initiative, which would mainly go to developers of Bitcoin Core. Bitcoin Core is the original software implementation of the Bitcoin protocol. The history of Bitcoin Core is closely intertwined with the development and evolution of Bitcoin itself. The first version of the Bitcoin software was released in January 2009, marking the beginnings of the Bitcoin network. Satoshi continued to work on the Bitcoin software, making improvements and fixing bugs as needed. The early versions of the software were basic and primarily used for mining and sending transactions. As interest in Bitcoin grew, a group of developers began contributing to the Bitcoin software development, and in 2011, the name Bitcoin Core was adopted to distinguish the official Bitcoin client from other implementations. Over the years, Bitcoin Core has been maintained and improved by a diverse group of contributors from around the world. Bitcoin Core remains the most widely used Bitcoin client and continues to be actively developed and maintained by a dedicated team of contributors. Development efforts focus on improving scalability, security, privacy, and usability, while preserving the decentralization and trustlessness that are core principles of Bitcoin. Overall, Bitcoin Core has played a crucial role in the development and success of Bitcoin, serving as the backbone of the network and providing a reliable and secure platform for Bitcoin transactions and its operations. Its history reflects the ongoing evolution and maturation of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.